As I travel the country, we've got great concern, and you well know what it is, but some of the measurements of it are this. Have you had enough of $4 a gallon gas? Yes. Have you had enough of unbearable levels of employment? Yes. Have you had enough of a federal government that is out of control and getting worse by the hour? Have you had enough of a federal government that enables big unions, big government, and their bailout big business buddies that scratch each other's back and raid your wallet? Yes. Well, then we need to make sure we send the message, and this group understands it very well. In another chapter of this nation's history, there was a brave group of patriots that flown the flag with this message: don't tread on me. Yeah. To restore America's promise, and we know it needs to be restored, we need a president who will keep his or her promises to America. Amen. And it wasn't that long ago that our current president traveled this great land and made bold statements and bold promises about what he would do if given the responsibility and the opportunity to be the president of the United States of America. In fact, he encouraged people to use the slogan, remember what it was? Yes, we can. So now as we think about the promises he made and the promises he broke, I think the proper slogan when asked, did he break his promise, should be, yes he did. Now let me give you a couple of examples of what we've seen in his rhetoric then and how he's governed now. President Obama stood before the American people and said, if you elect me president of the United States, he will reduce the budget deficit by half in his first term in office. Did President Obama break his promise to America?
Yes, he did.
President Obama said, you know, healthcare costs are out of control in our country, and in fact, they are. Our healthcare system is in need of reform, the right kind of reform. But this president and then candidate Obama stood in Iowa on the night of the Iowa caucuses in 2008. He looked the American people in the eye and he said, I know the burdens and costs of health care are rising too rapidly. It's becoming unaffordable for too many Americans. And he promised that he would fix the health care system with an emphasis on cost containment. He promised that he would do it with Republicans in a way that was bipartisan and was fully partnered with Republican and conservative perspective. And then he went to Washington, D.C. and jammed down the nation's throat one of the worst pieces of legislation in the modern history of the country. Did he break his promise to America? Yes! He said, you know, as president, we have to pass this stimulus bill, or unemployment could go as high as 8%. Did he break his promise to America?
Yes, he did.
And the list goes on and on. But one of my favorites, in a bad way, is this. United States Senator Barack Obama, when faced with the question, should we raise the debt ceiling in this nation, grandstanded the issue, stood up in front of the American people and his colleagues in the Senate, and he said, it's an example, if you raise it, of failed leadership. And he voted no and said we shouldn't have a nation that increases its debt limit on its credit card, and similar comments. Now when he makes that representation to America then, and now as president, completely changes his position. Did he break his promise to America?
Yes, he did.
Now I got to give the president credit for at least one thing. He has proven that someone can deserve a Nobel Prize less than Al Gore.